So there we are again. So basically, in the beginning, we found a business problem worth solving. Then we move over from a business concept that actually solved the problem. So what you have is there a beautiful business concept. So the next step is really finding your audience, message, and defining your brand. This will make sure that you have the right target audience and that you can sell your product or service. And in the end of this practical workshop, you will have a clear audience, message, and also starting with a beautiful brand foundation. So the first step is define the person, not the market. So what you can do is describe them by role, situation, and pressure, right? So let's dive a little bit deeper. What does that actually mean? So most of the people, they just say, "Hey, my target audience is entrepreneurs or SMEs." No, we want to dive a little bit deeper. So for example, if you want to target entrepreneurs, it should be a solo founder trying to get his first clients, right? Or a creator overwhelmed by consistency. So what you do is actually define the problem and integrate that within the target audience, right? So this is for someone who is and currently dealing with the dot, right? So you create, instead of having to target an entire market, you will find one small group within that entire market and you define an individual persona who's coping with a problem. So when do they actually care? So people don't buy randomly, they act when something changes. So most of the time it's a state change. They either get frustrated, they wanted to accomplish something, or they just want to improve something. So common triggers are just started, just failed, just realized the gap, just lost time or money, and just feel stuck. So this is actually an emotional state where the target audience is at, meaning that the transformational stage will be easier, right? To give you an example, I am stuck because I need to produce too much content, right? So that can be very frustrating and overwhelming because there need to be a lot of work done, but don't have the right tools or don't have the right resources to actually accomplish this, right? So in this case, you really define the problem. Three, so what do they actually want? People are looking for a state change, not just features, right? They want to feel in control, feel confident, feeling ahead, feeling unstuck, right? They generally want to have that frustration or that negative feeling and want to transform that in something that they can control and that has a positive outcome for them. So the output in this case will be, if this works, I will finally that. So in the case of a content creator, it will be, if this new implementation system of automated AI generated content for my business works, I will finally have some time to focus on other things that matter, such as doing marketing or other sales activities. So practical vs emotional drive. So practical is like save time, make progress, avoid mistakes. Emotionals, they feel relief, they feel finally confidence, they feel capable, right? So in general, the emotional side is more powerful to sell, but the practical side is also very important because that is the actual thing that it does, right? So the output will be one practical reason and one emotional reason. If you can write that down, that will be amazing. Practical reason can be, I feel like I want to save a lot of time with content production. And one emotional reason can be, I'm feeling so frustrated because I have to do all the work myself. Now let's focus on the brand intent, right? After interacting with the business, how should someone feel? So they feel like clear, in control, calm, and confident enough to act. So as you can really see, we dive into the emotional state. The reason why we do this is because it makes it much more easier to sell. Because if someone is frustrated or feels something strong, then he's more willing to take an action, right? So this brand should make people feel. So in this case, let's say I'm creating again let's utilize this for the entire class. Let's say you're a content creator. So in this case, this brand should make people feel like they're competent, professional, and really know what they're doing. So for the brand personality, right? So this is really important. So how a brand looks and feels also is part of the experience. People are willing to pay a higher price when it feels more professional, when it feels more in line with what they need. So you really need to think about your brand personality in that aspect as well, because it really can tailor to the target audience. Let's say the brand that you're building is basically for a content creator, which is in this case, let's see, a B2B person focus on corporate. So in this case, you just want to express that you're very professional, that you're really good and well skilled, and that you be taken seriously. So this is completely different when someone is, for example, more like fun, engaging, lovely, which has more playful colors and also more playful brand assets. So primary is direct, practical, calm, challenging, and supportive. Secondary is structured, minimal, thoughtful, energetic, right? So the brand should match how they feel after using the solution. The brand personality is really important, that it aligns with the target audience. You're a professional, like a B2B person that needs to have everything well organized. Brand which is professional, that knows what they're talking about and that aligns with what they're feeling. So on the other hand, you have, for example, who is very engaging, who just like more playful colors. And right, for the brand personality, it's very important that it addresses the right target audience, because then they feel like you know what you're talking about and that you really align with their own values. So let's say on one hand you have a very B2B content creator, and on the other hand you have someone who's more into lifestyle products, like let's say like supplements. These two things are completely a different feeling, right? So for the B2B, they just want to have like dark blue colors, they want to feel professionalism, they want to feel that what you're talking about. On the other hand, is lifestyle. It can be more like cute or like engaging, colorful, and playful elements in this aspect, right? So what you do, you separate it into two things, a primary and a secondary, right? So for the primary is who you want to focus on first. Think of some personality traits which fits your brand. Secondary is basically the other audience that you want to address that still aligns with it, right? You have a few different examples, right? Sincerity, down to earth, honest, wholesome, cheerful. For excitement, daring, spirited, imaginative, up to date, etc., etc. So it's up to you which target audience you want to address, and really dive into deep about what really drives them, what do they really feel, and what emotions you want to evoke, right? After this, you should have a primary and a secondary brand personality, which after that you get into the brand name direction. So good names are easy to say, easy to spell, easy to explain. So I see a lot of people, they make like very difficult brand names, and sometimes it's very hard to pronounce, and you will see that it's very hard for people to remember this as well, because the main goal is having something easy to understand, easy to explain, and easy to just roll out of your tongue, right? Here are some safe patterns that you can use. So outcome with name, let's say for content creators, content with Roy, right? Or you do some blah 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 systems, right? So workflow automation systems, and you can also use a verb and a noun. But for the output, write 3 options, cross out the clever one, keep the clearest one. Because in the end, you just want to have something simple, sweet, and that people can remember. And that aspect is also easier to sell. For visual directions, right? Set boundaries, not design, because in the beginning you set like a template, you create everything, but you see your brand will grow along the way, right? So the overall feel, this is like an example: minimal, bold, calm, or technical. And you can pick some color direction. Don't pick 7 or 8 colors at the same time. See a lot of people do that. So one primary color, one accent color, neutral background. So this is the starting point. After that, of course, you can add some accents. You can add more colors if you want, but keep in mind always the core needs to be clean. All right, so by now you have your brand locked. So most probably you can fill this in for a specific person in a specific situation. This brand name helps them achieve the outcome so they can blah, 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 desired state. So let's say for content creators in the B2B environment that are feeling frustrated about creating content, Brandify helps them create good looking images very fast and automated, so they can have some more time to focus on marketing and sales, right? Super clean, simple, plain language. not using any tools for this. All right. So after this, you should have a clear audience, message, and a brand foundation to go on to the next workshop.